Hi, I'm Paul Friedman. I'm the founder of the Marriage Foundation. The topic that we have right now is what to do if you don't feel loved in a relationship. And this is a very cool topic. I really like this, and I would urge you to stay with me through this, because there's a lot of information that I'm going to share with you that you've never heard anywhere else before. Those of you who are familiar with how we talk about marriage at the Marriage Foundation, how we view the whole idea of a relationship between a man and a woman, or even without that, it could be a man and a man or a woman and a woman. It doesn't matter, because we see things soul to soul. This is huge. Now, we're not a progressive organization. We're not a conservative organization. We are an organization that is all about marriage. It's all about realizing yourself as a human being and connecting at that level of love. And here's the topic. What if you're not feeling loved? Well, you are love itself. You are a soul. You have a body. You have a mind. But who are you? What are you? As a human being, we have a consciousness that no other creatures in God's creation have. We are aware of a deep happiness within. That is our soul. We are aware of wisdom. We know the difference between right and wrong. We don't behave just instinctively, but our body does. You see, we have a body, and our body is just loaded with instincts, has the drive to survive, guiding everything. It's an intelligence, but it's not a thinking intelligence. It's a reactive intelligence. And this is always affecting our minds. What does this have to do with feeling loved? We're getting there. You see, we have to understand ourselves. This is one of the biggest lacks that we have growing up. We're not taught how to balance a checkbook. We always complain about that. We're taught algebra when so few of us actually use it. But we don't learn about ourselves. People are afraid to talk about it, those who know, because they're afraid they're going to sound spiritual. And there's always this deference to atheists, and I'm not talking about just atheists who don't believe in God, but the ones who go on and on about how dare you impose your thinking on me. But there's still a reality here. The reality is that a human being, you are a soul, and the soul is love. The soul is wisdom. The soul is joy. That's what you are, part of God. And you can't deny that. And this need that we have for love is within us. It's deep. It is us. What isn't us is the mind. We're not the mind. We have one. But what has happened is we have deferred all of our choices to our habits, our reactions, our emotions. We don't take charge. And so we're beaten up like crazy. We're like those old pinballs. Remember the pinball machines? I don't know if they're still around even, but there's pinball machines. They bump into something and bam! All of a sudden that ball gets bounced around, doesn't know where it's going. And that's what we are like when we don't identify ourselves as love itself. And if you're in a relationship, whether it's with your husband or your wife or your boyfriend or your girlfriend, it doesn't matter. When you're in a relationship and you're not feeling loved, the first question you should ask yourself is, am I expressing love to my man or to my woman? Am I opening my heart? And I don't mean dumping your emotions. Are you opening your heart? Are you sharing yourself, your true self? Or are you holding back, afraid? Because your mind is telling you it's dangerous. And this is what we don't learn, and it's so important. You know, there's a reason for morality. I said earlier, we're not a conservative organization only because we don't identify ourselves. But our principles are very conservative. We do adhere to the morality that needs to guide us. Those are guardrails. You know, you can call them the 10 Commandments if you want. I grew up as a Jew, and we have like 350 commandments. But the point of it is that these are our guardrails for our thinking, because we don't think from ourselves, from our hearts. And so in the mundane existence that we live, we need to know the difference between right and wrong. We should know it internally, and we can. If you silence the mind and you feel love from your heart, and you're feeling that peace that comes with that love, and you're feeling that joy, you automatically know the difference between right and wrong. It is not an intellectual question. And when you're with someone who you are committed to, relationship's not enough. But when you're committed, then that love should be what you are together. Because we're soulmates when we're at that stage. In a committed relationship, committed, I don't mean in the modern way, where, okay, I'm committed, but maybe we'll break up in 6 months. No, I'm talking about committed where we're at least moving towards marriage. We're at least sincerely discovering one another. We're at least revealing ourselves, and we know, we've discussed, we're going to be married. We're going to spend our lives together. I don't care what you call it. Many people these days don't get married officially, and it's understandable, but it doesn't mean you're not committed. If you are committed, then that's your soulmate. And then it matters. What matters more than whether they love you or not is how much you're opening up to them. How much you're committed to sharing that space of unconditional love. You know, we have a course for people who are searching for their soulmates. And in that course, I tell women, be very careful about opening your legs before you open your heart. And don't open your legs too soon, and don't open your heart too soon. Don't just date for the sake of having a boyfriend. And men too, don't just date for the sake of having a girlfriend so you have someone to attend a wedding with. Do your due diligence. You're talking about spending the rest of your life with somebody. Know them. Know their intentions. Know their flaws. If you can live with them, great. If they don't bother you that much, great. But if they're bothering you, if, for instance, they're not expressing love to you openly, and you can see they're not going to, then move on. Be really clear about what you want. Now, if you're already married, you've already made the decision. And if you're married and you're not feeling loved in your relationship, that is a problem. But it may very well be a problem on your part. It could be you're listening more to your mind than your heart. Once you're committed, once you have that relationship, and you're all in, you don't even really notice that you're not loved. because you're giving so much love that your marital space is so filled with love, you're so filled with joy, that it never even would cross your mind. And in those marriages, everything works out fine. Now, some people intellectualize love. They're not really opening their hearts. They're committed, to be sure, but they're not committed to completely opening their hearts because they're living in this mundane level of their existence and they're afraid. And you got to get past that. So it's so important to know yourself, to know that you're the soul, to know that your mind gets in the way. You need to learn these things. These are important things. Now, if you're already a subscriber to this channel, you've heard so much about this. If not, you need to become a subscriber to this channel. And we've already got over 26,000 people who have, and it's growing by leaps and bounds. Because we talk about marriage in a very spiritual way, because love is spiritual. We get married for love. We get married for joy. Joy is spiritual. I know that I've bounced around a little bit. The real question is what to do if you don't feel loved in a relationship. And the real answer is you have to examine it all. But mostly you have to take a look at yourself in the context of what you have. And so it's such a broad question. But you need to understand who you are, what you are, and what you're doing. Now, many of my subscribers and some of you have reached out to us and you said you wanted to be a TMF counselor. Marriage Foundation, the Marriage Foundation we have our own principles, we have our own ways of working with people. It's very specific, it's very organized, systematized, and we would love to have you. And I'm working on developing now a course, training course for those who want to be marriage counselors, TMF marriage counselors. If you are interested in that, let us know, because it's not on the website yet, but it will be, where we will be pre-selling the course so we get a sense of how many people we're working with, and it's going to be hugely discounted. So if you have an interest, please let us know, and then we'll let you know when it's ready for you to sign up. And other than that, again, I'm Paul Friedman. I founded the Marriage Foundation. I look forward to your comments. I look forward to your liking this video, and I look forward to your visiting again. And if you have a suggestion for a video, leave it in the comment section and I'll send it upstream and maybe we could address it. Thank you very much for spending time. God bless you.